Hello, everyone. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
And today we're going to talk about whether or not the rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese is going to save the WNBA. Welcome to Mark and Rob's Sports Showdown. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit that notification bell when you do. So, Rob, you heard the question. Is it going to save the WNBA or not?
I think it already has, Mark. It already has saved it, the WNBA, because before these players were even in the league, the attendance was averaging about 6,000. So now with Caitlin Clark, the away games average, her away games attendance is like 15,000, and Reese's is 10,000, which is second, among the rookies. So this reminds me of, like I said, I keep on mentioning it, is with Bird and Magic. And people are coming out to see both players actually. And then when they play together, when they play the games, what they're going to have is going to happen soon in August, the 30th. It's going to be crazy. I mean, it's revived the league as far as people watching it, not just watching Caitlin, but it's revived the league. Just people watching the other players, actually other players also, because when Caitlin plays or when Reese plays, they're going to be looking at the other players. So that's why I think they definitely have. I think they saved the league, actually.
Well, we all know the television ratings are through the roof whenever the two of them play in college and in the WNBA. I don't know if it's saved the league already. I think in order for the league to actually do this, they have to sustain it. And I think in order for it to be sustained, I think Caitlin Clark has to have a successful career, including some championships. And Angel Reese, too, if she continues to improve her game. Right now, Rob, if they don't have, they don't have any success in the playoffs, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt. But I think they're both on pretty young teams, especially Indiana Fever is like the youngest team in the league, and they got talent. So in the past, in the WNBA, anybody had like number one picks, two of them, they always end up doing something. And the Chicago Sky's got a very good coach in Teresa Weatherspoon. They got Camila Cardozo along with Angel Reese, so they got two big rookies. So I can see them being very good in the future. So
Yeah,
I think
I think it's just. I'm sorry, Mark. I think it's just a jump start. This is just like the jump starting, like before no one was watching, but now people are watching, and then they're drawing in new fans who've never seen the WNBA, a younger crowd, which is a very good thing to get the younger crowd in, because they're not into anything except for looking through their phones. So if you can drag them into watching a WNBA game, you've done the right thing.
What are you talking about, Rob? The young players don't do that. Young people don't do that. They even go to the games and do this. Rob, that's true, and a lot of people have seen the WNBA for the first time. My concern is they don't like what they see. So that's why I say this has not saved the league yet, but it's a start. They need to clean up the league, as we did a whole video on this, the fact that it's prison ball, and people constantly are saying it's too physical, and they need to adjust that. They need to change that because people do not like it. Yeah. They'd rather see more like the NBA, where it's kind of physical, but it's not crazy physical.
But I think with Caitlin, what's happening with Caitlin Clark, and it's drawing in the fans, and they're seeing what's happening. It's kind of neat. They're causing the league to kind of wake up and not just run it the same old way. They got to change their ways. Exactly. Get better referees. That's one thing. and
come on, Rob! You're being too rough on them. They're great.
What's that song? Three Blind Mice. They just got to open them and then acknowledge that to the players that they care about them. And like I said, with the way these younger players are coming into the league, and the crop of, like I said, I've watched the under 17 and the 18 games just recently, and there are some good players going to be coming in. I can't remember some of the names, but there are some good players, up and coming players. So it's only going to get better. The league's only going to get better.
Right. Well, I believe that, and it's because women's sports in general is growing, and a lot of little girls started playing sports more because of Title IX and all that stuff. So I believe a lot of talent is coming. My concern is when the talent gets there, are they allowed to shine because the league is so physical? Take someone like Juju Watkins. Now, maybe she's not going to get the reception that Clark got, the bad reception part of what Clark got. But, you know, she's very athletic, and she's somewhat exciting just to watch because of her athletic ability. But if every time she drives to the basket, she gets hammered, people aren't going to like that.
Nope.
And look at how skinny Paige Beckers is. She's going to have trouble shining sometimes because of the physicality of the league. And she could be exciting too at times. So that's my concern. You already mentioned the refs, which we've covered in another video. So I think, you know, these are the first times you got fresh eyes in. They need to correct it quickly. And they've been slow to do it because they've had the same commissioner for 5 years, and she hasn't got any better refs than she did 5 years ago, I'm sure, because they couldn't have been any worse. And she hasn't cleaned up the league, the physicality of the league, and the dirty play. And
maybe it's time for new blood with the upper echelon of the league. Like I said, the commissioner. If she doesn't get it, she's going to lose out. If she doesn't really get it, they're going to lose out on a good thing. I mean,
you know what it is, Rob?
I think this year is the do or die year for them to really, like you said, to pay attention and see what's going on and see what kind of product they have in front of them, and not just poo-poo it around like, oh well, we're a physical league. Not like you said, not very many people like that.
Rob, here's the problem. Two great commissioners, and that was David Stern and Paul Tagliabue. And they both have law degrees, by the way. This woman came in, Kathy Egelberg, and she does not have a law degree. And she did not have a sports background. So that was 2 strikes against her in terms of being a good commissioner. She came from a marketing aspect. They brought her in to market it. She said this in an interview. They brought me in to try to market to more people.
She's a horrible. Well, I was in business, and she's not a very good business marketing. That's for sure.
Right. Well, she may be marketing the league properly, but if she doesn't change the league and give herself a better product to market, it doesn't make any difference how well she markets it. You can get people to go watch it, but if they're turned off by what you watch, it's not going to do you any good. So that's where she's made her mistake, and that's because she didn't come from a sports background. That means she's probably not as much of a sports fan as the rest of us. And we want to see aesthetically pleasing athletes do their thing. And she hasn't allowed the WNBA over the last 5 years. It's probably been happening since the beginning. So much was physical before. We all know what happened. Candace Parker, a rookie year. So, but she hasn't realized that's part of marketing is to give the right product for people to view.
Or improve. You already have a product in front of you. So you've seen it. All of a sudden you see the changing of the changing of the design of a bottle or a thing like that, changing of that. And people will, oh, geez, this new bottle thing. It's the same thing, the same Coke, but you just changed the label of it. And people will start by drinking more Coke. Same thing with the WNBA. You got to adjust this. I can't believe that that business aspect.
Well,
you see that.
Rob, in marketing, what they teach you is how to market a product better. They don't necessarily teach you how to change the product. That's the people that are in charge of design and production. And, so that's her background doesn't maybe cover that, I guess, is what I'm saying. Because I think she's made a mistake by not changing it. So I think, this is a boost, but is it going to be sustained? I don't know. And are just these fans, like a lot of fans, are just want to watch Caitlin Clark. And to a lesser extent, some fans just want to see Angel Reese. So my concern is, are they going to stay and watch the league with all the other star players?
I think so, Mark. Like I said, it's all up to how they. And again, we talked about this before too. The outside pressure, the outside influence to the league, the former players criticizing and not realizing what's happening to a particular player, that jealousy part, that's what's also coming in too. They got to change that kind of that. Maybe they need a male person in there to like wake them up, and not because we're not going to be that emotional about. We're going to be like strictly. This is about the business. I don't care about whether she's promoting this or she's better than this. Who cares? She's helping the league. So.
Well, men do have more experience in business than women, especially running like companies or larger organizations. So maybe there's something to that, Rob. It sounds sexist to say it, but maybe there's something to it. They need a male perspective in terms of business. And, they haven't done well. So they might as well listen to from another perspective is what I'm saying. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I hope that, because I want to watch Caitlin Clark play for the next 15 to 20 years. I heard she wants to get married and have kids. I hope that's just temporary. Because I think she's so exciting. And I like the WNBA to be successful, because it's more interesting to follow a league that's successful that as opposed to one that nobody's watching.
So, Mark, Caitlin Clark's regular season games were similar to some of the NBA playoff games as far as viewership.
Yeah, that shows the popularity is growing, but they need to sustain that is what my concern. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens August 30th when they play for game number 4 between Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever and Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark.
I think that'll be an important game because it's still trying to make the playoffs. So both very close to each other's.
It could set a record, Rob, for viewership. We'll see. Let us know what you think in terms of whether you think this rivalry is strong enough to sustain success in the WNBA, or whether this is just a little glitch and it's all about, say, Caitlin Clark, for instance. Some people are saying it's just really Caitlin Clark viewership. We'll see. And what do you think? Both have to be successful for this actually to work, which I think that's kind of obvious, but you can tell me if I'm wrong. And let us know if you're going to watch someone besides Caitlin Clark. That influences whether or not the league is successful. If you just watch Caitlin Clark, I don't think that's going to be enough to make this league a successful. No. Of course, it's going to go up some, because anything to do with Caitlin Clark games are going to go up, but that's not enough for long term for them to get out of losing money every year, because they're supposed to lose $50 million this year, even though we were told they were averaging $10 million a year, and that's with additional revenue from Caitlin Clark. So it suggests to me they were losing more than $10 million a year. So that's all I say. So let us know what you think. Anyways, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Hit that notification bell when you do. If you like this video, hit the like button. And guess what, Rob? If you'd like to make intelligent, non-insulting comments, feel free to do so. And our live show is now expanded to 2 hours on Mondays, except for major holidays, 6 to 8, except for the 2 weeks during the Olympics, because we're going to cover the Olympics as we promised. And now we're going to do live shows 2 to 5 for 14 straight days. And that's from going to be July 27th to August 10th. And that's because that's prime time in Paris, and that's when the marquee events are. All right. And we'll see you in the next video.
All right. Peace out.